I'm trying to find a face for
I
you.
need to do the intro
Why
first.
am
Let me do the intro. I know we don't have one, but hold up. I
We
got this
are
written
the
down.
sad beans.
Hold up.
We'll
I got this
never
written down in
see.
my. Let me finish. Hello, everyone, and welcome to ClovenCast, the radio show where we have no intro. I'm Spirit. Everyone else introduce themselves before I get interrupted again.
I'm crying!
Hi, I'm crying. I'm Maple.
I'm crying Springheart.
And today we're going to be talking about kind of a retrospective of Steven Universe Future, the series as a whole, the impact of the finale, and our general thoughts on it. So right now I'm getting expressions from people because if we're going to have a title card, we're going to have some memes, so.
Something is
This one for
clearly
me.
wrong.
Okay, that is perfect.
I know. Somebody should do Yellow Diamonds, though. Maybe
I'm looking at Yellow Diamond right now.
Spirit should be Yellow Diamond just
I
because
want
of
to
how...
be Peridot, though.
Fine,
Just like
I will do Yellow Diamond. Just
So, that Steven Universe finale.
I got my tears out weeks ago.
You know, I didn't cry as much as I thought I would.
I didn't
honestly.
like bawl, but I was crying after the end of it because it's just like that was 7 years of my life.
I was crying on the inside. Like, I've been watching the show since the beginning. I was hoping I'd be crying way more, but I didn't, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't actually cry.
It was emotional, but I didn't cry.
I cried like a little girl.
Like a little bitch. Ha! Kidding. I'm sorry. I'm aggressive.
I admit it. I'm happy about it. Deal with it.
Honestly, Maple, I didn't expect you to be the aggressive one.
I'm
I've
just
been
gonna
in a
hide
weird
under
mood
my
lately.
table now. It's fine. It's just good glory.
I've been in a weird mood lately. Just bear
Whoa.
with me here.
I'll stay over here in the corner.
No,
Physical
I'm
distance.
sorry.
Wait,
Girl,
we're supposed to be
send
socially
your
distancing
chocolate,
and
let me know.
call. How are we supposed to do that?
It's called physical distancing now. They've renamed it.
That's like the difference
Well-
between KD and Kraft mac and cheese. They're both the same thing, just the American
same
version
thing!
is garbage.
What's the goddamn point?
Because physical distancing implies that you're not supposed to like talk to anyone anymore. But
You mean
physical
social distancing? It means
Yeah,
you're not
no-
supposed to talk to anyone anymore.
Yeah, I can English real good.
Big brain, big brain.
Big brain time.
Nobody in our government has one.
I gotta drink some coffee. Here we go.
I thought we were talking about Steven Universe.
We're supposed to be, but we got back to the topic of mac and cheese for the
I'm
pre-show.
trying to find a
Cried. I was like, so
Are
Steven
you
Universe,
literally
right?
the one who brought
cried.
up mac and cheese, though?
Oh right, I have a square dot that I could literally use as my screen character.
Okay. How?
This isn't over.
I want the one where yellow Pearl is leaning. I can't get it for you. Won't show it up.
Where's my square dot?
Anyways.
So Steven Universe, am I right?
No, right?
Ooh, what a ball of emotion. Like every time they're like, here, let's have a Steven bomb.
I think all of us kind of sat down like after each episode and talked about it in PM because it's just like there's something going up. We're building up to something, and I'm sad.
So I thought it was very interesting that how about we just go from episode to episode? We'll do it that way.
Oh, I need to pull up the
Okay.
roster.
Yeah,
Hold up.
I need to pull up the episode.
World bound, everything's fine. I am my monster and the future.
Oh, we're just covering the final four.
We
Yeah.
are?
Yeah, we can cover the whole series. It won't be like a long thing, but just like bringing up points.
Yeah, no, that's what I
Important.
just to kind of like help you order your thoughts.
All right. Little homeschool in dreams. Homeworld bound, everything's fine. Okay. Okay, so we're talking about Homeworld bound, everything's fine, I'm a monster, and the future.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
So I thought,
who goes first?
Got it.
do we want to just talk together?
Well, just make it a conversation. Like, okay,
Yeah, let's just conversation it.
Homeworld bound.
I thought it was very interesting how Steven Universe was like, I've fixed the universe and I'm going to GTFO, and the Diamonds were like, but we want to be part of your life, and he was like, no, I got shit to do, and they're like, well, okay, and they go back to Homeworld and they're like, we have new cool ass powers and we're going to give up our, apparently Homeworld is now going to be a democracy.
And
And
they
they're like-
fixed shattered gems.
Yeah, and they have like, they're now basically like England. They have to have a royal family and they're gonna have a democracy. Um,
I wonder
Yeah.
what gem parliament looks like.
Well, that's
know.
ironic because Lisa Hannigan is Irish.
which
And they're going for a British system of government, and that's amazing.
which I love in a sense, but also the Diamonds are the most powerful of them, and if, another alien race shows up, they might be kind of screwed. Just saying.
There are alien races, but none of them, they're too bad, I guess.
Yeah.
I think they have their old powers, but they've rediscovered new powers is the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
White Diamonds was the most interesting.
That scene
like
where Steven
weird
took over
therapy.
her was really, really just
Intense?
not
was
only
intense
intense,
and-
but very stress-inducing because it's just like, oh no.
There's
I-
a part of me that, oh my god, I've had those thoughts with people before, but seeing them actually manifest in Steven just scared the ever-loving shit out of me, which was the point. They
Yeah.
definitely got that part right, but still, I'm...
Yeah, and
Why?
that's a conflict that I think that's one of the reasons why Steven has never gone hung out with the quote unquote Diamonds, is because he's had this trauma that's happened with the Diamonds, and he's never had that closure with White. She basically almost killed him, and
I don't think he ever even got that closure is the other thing.
no, and at the end of the show, he hasn't had that closure. They haven't had that conversation of, hey, I screwed you up really badly, and we're probably not going to be okay for a really long time. But
because there was a time skip between second to last and the last episode, so there's a possibility that the conversation came up.
Probably not. I think Steven, based on what they were going on about, he was kind of focused on helping Homeworld maybe get back into play, or else I don't know why else he'd be up at Homeworld in the first place, you know?
I didn't mean at the start of the season. I meant
you meant the month or so. But the crystal gems were apparently watching him for those couple of months, super heavily. So I don't know if he
Have to talk.
maybe there'll be a one-off comic or something
Well, I was
down
talking
the
about
line.
the very, very beginning, with the
Mhm.
movie, because that's technically canon in the series.
Yeah,
It
but
was brought up in future.
yeah, but it's very apparent that they have not had that closure.
Yeah.
Which honestly, okay, mini rant here, but when I was taking a look, when I was watching through the finale, that whole part where they were all crying, and Connie rightfully calls them out for their bullcrap, but at the same time, I felt that scene kind of in I Am My Own Monster, for reference, is that just this feels a little too forced. You're giving everyone a spotlight and just going down the roster. Was there not a way to make this feel a little bit more natural?
So one thing is sorry, I'm gonna do a whole in general thing. One thing that's really bugged me about this series in general is that it's quote unquote technically Pink Diamond's fault. Like it always like just in general, like the blame has been pushed onto this one character. Um and there's been no way to like be like, well, she did it because of this. Like, and they've kind of like technically tried to like, well, diamonds were assholes, and it's like that's not good enough. Like,
You can't
but
blame their reaction. Like, you can't blame their reaction after, like, Pink kind of yanked them around and puppeted
yeah,
them
and
away.
and she's dead, so she can't like be like, well, I did it because of this, right? So, and it just seems like every time like something comes up, it's like, oh, it's my mom's fault. It's my mom's fault. It's my mom's fault. It's my
And then
mom's
Steven
No, I
starts
kind of hate
blaming
that about
himself.
the series, like in general, like, oh, it's all Pink's fault. My mom is an asshole, the series.
Like, I have two prints in my room, and it's of Greg and of Rose. And after seeing the episode where Greg basically fails to be a parent and to help Steven out when he's having, like, when they crash the car, I don't want to have that picture up of Greg anymore because he, like, he's failed to be a parent. Like, I didn't question his raising of Steven at all. I just figured like he was a gem, and that's why he raised him that way, and that's why he didn't go to school, because he didn't age like normal kids. And like Rose is like basically like a dead character to me because she had no redeeming qualities, because they've basically just like put her in a barrel and just shot her several times. Like,
Yeah, they didn't give us any good reason to really like Rose or Pink by the end of the series, which I understand that might be like the direction they wanted to go with her.
Yeah.
It's just like some people are just bad people, but at the same time, the fact that they tried to pull this whole loop, like especially with, I think it was Change Your Mind, how they were bringing it all back to like, because the whole topic of like, is Steven his mom, or is Steven responsible for his mom's actions, like you can still see that in future when he started getting his pink diamond powers, and it's just like,
Started literally becoming Pink Diamond. Like, I kept getting like these flashbacks of like Jungle Moon since like the very beginning of Future.
mm-hmm.
Like ever since we've seen angry Steven, it's like, yeah, this is basically Pink Diamond's teenage years in Jungle Moon.
I was
where she was a brat. That's the direction we're going down, isn't she?
Yeah.
And Pink Diamond / Rose is both a terrible and interesting character because her redemption works in reverse. But it also kind of downfalls, like, as you get to know her.
Like, can you elaborate what you mean, like, by reverse redemption?
Okay, so we don't get to see, like, the very beginning of the series, we see her, like, actually trying to protect the Earth and all that other stuff. That's, like, been her whole legacy. However, starting out as a diamond, she'd be an asshole. I mean, she's still an asshole, but
the more you learn about
it's
her,
like
the
kind of a reverse redemption, sort of, like, where she was this kind, so amazing character at first, but then later as you got to know her backstory, that's when you started realizing, wow, she's kind of a bitch.
Well, and part of it makes you wonder, like, is she genuinely nice out of a desire to be, like, different from the diamonds, like the other diamonds, or does she do it, like, as a subtle form of psychological manipulation? Because part of me started getting, like, that energy of, what if she's literally playing Greg just so she has an out?
What if she made Steven get out? Like, ugh.
I think this was addressed, though, in, like, that one episode where Steven decides to go in Rose's room and actually, quote-unquote, talk to Rose.
Yeah. Well,
he's like, did you make me so you could run away from your problems?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Maple.
Well, it's just, Rose as a character, she jumbles my mind because I think of how we learned about her as a character is very reverse to how, like, I think of real people, right? Where we first met her was like kind of like this Jesus kind of figure, right? She was their savior of Earth. She was all this, that, the other thing. But as the series goes on, we look back into more of her past and dig deeper and deeper into her past. And so I think more of like if you've met somebody in real life, right? And they're a great person, you know, they met, it's like, yeah, no, I've been through a lot, right? And then you start to learn of everything they've done, then I guess that's kind of the perspective I'm thinking of too at the same time, right? Where it's, would you have that same reaction where, like, I meet Spirit, right? Yeah. This is all hypothetical. I'm not accusing you of anything, but it's like, you're a great person, we get along great, but then you go, yeah, I'll admit I've done some shady things, and I'm like,
I've murdered somebody.
Well, sure. It's like, yeah,
Y'all are gonna get a mob on my ass.
I've murdered
somebody. Right?
This just in.
I'm not accusing, right? It's all hypothetical sake, but then does that change my entire perspective when I learn about something you've done? And would that stop me from respecting you as a person, although I'm aware that you've made better, right? But then I guess it's the other thing with Rose is that she's also a very childlike character. You know, she finds something new and she's like, oh, I'm gonna learn. And then she's like, she gets so invested in that and she wants to learn it. She wants to do the thing, but not really thinking of the consequences, right? So I can't hate her, but I see why people hate her. She's more just fascinating to me in that regard.
Yeah, I can agree on that.
Yeah,
I don't know, like, when you look at Pink Diamond's, like, character arc, though, in a way she was abused by her own family, and then she herself kind of became an abuser.
Well, and that's a very, one thing that I'll give the show credit for is the fact that they do represent, psychological damage and stuff like this very accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, almost too accurately. It's just because, especially, like, I won't go too deep into it, but I think at least a lot of us have experienced some form of emotional trauma over the years. Like, that's kind of why the show strikes a chord so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean for us to go on a giant rant, but I think it was well worth it. One thing I thought they were going to do, but they didn't do. So Steven was getting quote unquote new diamond powers, right? Mm-hmm. And his gem has been in the shape of, has been turned because of how Pink Diamond turned it. I thought that they were gonna, like, his diamond or his gem was gonna have to be turned, and because he wasn't, that's why he was losing controls, because it wasn't.
It was kind of overpowering him as a result of his emotional state. Yeah,
it wasn't in the right position for that amount of power or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever.
Well, I mean, I guess the position of the gem, I don't think really affects what kind of power you have in the end. Mm-hmm. That's just me.
Yeah, but I just...
it's kind of weird, though, because Pink Diamond had, like, her own kind of set of powers, but then there were, like, Rose kind of powers.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wonder where she managed to get that.
I don't...
Okay, so, like, you remember, like, the scene with, like, Jasper, where, you know, they were duking it out, like, even before, like, the death? Mm-hmm. Steven, like, Rose kind of has, like, bubble powers with, like, the shield. Meanwhile, Pink Diamond has more, like, these geometrical, like, shapes.
Yeah.
Like that diamond-shaped, I don't know what to call it. It's like a shield, but it's not.
Like, hexagon thingy.
Yeah, that. Oh. I don't know. They kind of have, like, different forms of power. I don't know. It might be linked to the identity. a little bit.
I wonder if it's the rotation of the gem. I honestly think it's the rotation, but then Steven's like, no, I tapped into these other powers. And I was like, well, that's not logic now.
Maybe,
It could be a self-discovery thing.
maybe she have like the floating powers like before she decided to become Rose. I don't know.
It could be a self-discovery thing or a personality thing too.
I think she had the floaty powers before.
Oh yeah, right. The scene where Stephen was having the flashback and he was doing the juggling dream thing.
Yeah.
In Dirk.
Yeah.
So she didn't have the shield.
I feel like Pink was like altering some of her powers to stay hidden.
Might be it.
You think that it might be an instance of, like, they can take raw energy and kind of do what they want with it? Because if you're a diamond and you're at the literal top of the chain, the possibilities could be limitless, and more the sense of the fact that the diamonds just focused their power towards, like, one thing.
So you know how
there's still a bunch of episodes left to talk about, and we're talking about Pink Diamond.
Yeah, I know. But you know how, like, the diamonds discovered new abilities? What if when Pink Diamond went to Earth, she discovered these new abilities? That was her huzzah moment.
Maybe. Probably it then.
That would make sense.
I'm going to go a little bit off topic now that you bring up the diamonds in general. I love Blue so much.
Blue song.
Oh my god. Like the way I don't know what it is about Blue Diamond and Lisa Hannigan, but I just absolutely adored her, even though I know she's a Shatterer.
Yeah, they've done some shady stuff.
You know, come to think about it, I think the idea that Steven brought Jasper back to life, part of me wonders if it would have been more impactful if they established that you could not fix a shattered gem.
If it was too shattered.
Yeah, just imagine how impactful it would have been on his character if they went with that route. Because, yeah, Jasper had an involvement in him leaving, but at the same time, the weight on his psyche of just knowing that he caused the death of someone who trusted in him would have probably been way more impactful than saying, like, go do something else.
Like, if they wanted to, at the end, they could have had Yellow, quote-unquote, bring back Jasper because of her new ability. But, like, in the moment, that would have been perfect.
Honestly, the one like, sure, the finale was great, but at the same time, it was really rough around the edges. Like, I'm one to talk. I've got a whole lot of issues with my writing, but at the same time, like, you all noticed it, right? Like, something felt off.
It was too fast.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, it really wasn't paced all that
an hour
well.
to this. Well, you could have done the pacing a little better if you cut out some unnecessary parts. Like
technically, it was 44 minutes because the typical episode of Steven Universe is like 11 minutes, though, isn't it?
Like, honestly, I can't remember. Like, the final one, like The Future or something like that, had Steven go around and try to make people feel for him. Why not have the arc
long.
Follow the arc into the last episode and have that be the resonant moment. Do the time jump within the last episode and then have the opportunity, because people are still gonna feel the impact of the show ending and Steven saying goodbye, whether or not he pushes it too much. But if he pushes it, then it kind of muddies the impact of it a little bit. At least speaking like from an emotional perspective, it's just like I was sitting there watching, don't you do this, Steven. You are making me not like you because you're trying to force your friends into feeling things.
That episode, the final episode, was so long. Like, that goodbye, that whole episode was goodbye, I'm leaving. Like, it was so long. Like, I can't, like, usually it needed to be faster. That section needed to be way smaller to deal with everything else that was going on. It just, I loved the beats they put in there, but it was just so long.
It didn't feel like it was that long, but maybe it's just me.
It felt like it was dragging.
It really did. like in
It kind
11
of
minutes.
reminded me of the MLP like finale, just without like the flashback element to it, you know? Which I
Yeah.
wanted to see more of this time skip.
Yeah, honestly, if they had to keep everything concealed to the original, like the first 3 episodes, like keep that a 3-parter, then why not have it show Steven's recovery over time? Because I'm pretty sure people who are recovering from a serious event of trauma would really appreciate some coping methods. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Other than, yeah, I am going to see a therapist.
Also, apparently Garnet is a therapist now? So...
Counselor, more like.
Oh, I'm sorry, a counselor, but, like, has some experience helping people through issues, and Garnet didn't do anything!
Garnet didn't see Steven showing clear signs of emotional trauma and stress. Like,
Garnet can see the freaking
crap
future!
Is this?
I know Garnet has to, like, tap into it, but, like, clear stress, boy! Stress boy, walking around.
You're a freaking marriage counselor from the beginning.
It was so good. I loved that part.
Instead of a yoga instructor, it just doesn't seem Garnet like to be a yoga instructor.
I have a feeling
Marriage counselor, though, that sounds right up her alley, maybe. I mean, how long has she been with, like, how long have Ruby and Sapphire been together? Like, over 3,000 years? Enough.
They must know something about marital discourse.
Probably.
I want to see Bismuth and Pearl hook up.
Yes.
Same.
We ship them so hard.
Never knew I shipped them, but now I especially ship them. I was waiting for Mystery Girl. She never showed up, but you know what? I'm okay with business.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Well, honestly,
You know what?
the thing that bothered me is that, like, if you're talking about Mystery Girl, like the punk pink hair girl, right?
Yes.
I feel like
Yes.
that wouldn't have been good for Pearl to hook up with her because she just reminds her of Rose, and that's
Yes.
kind of like
Yeah.
going back to your abuser in a way.
I was
And
expecting...
I wasn't like saying like, oh, I need a full episode of them hooking up, but I don't know. I'd like to see like a little mini cameo of Mystery Girl just one last time.
I seriously,
But I am.
like, when they introduced her, I was like, oh, you're a spy. Because how do you get into Pearl's heart and information? By creating another Rose. Like, and it didn't go anywhere and I was sad.
Speaking of roses, that one episode with the rose quartzes,
That was so uncomfortable.
it's like showing up to a family meeting with that one uncle who you know is like really homophobic, and you're
Ooh.
required by law to show up, otherwise your parents will get on your case. Ironically, none of my uncles or aunts are homophobic. I'm just trying to use an example. Like,
Do you
there's
mean
the
a
trope.
family reunion? Because you're talking about a family meeting, which is just completely different.
Yeah.
A complete family reunion.
Okay, you're socially obligated. How does that sound?
Okay, that's better. So I have the question to the people who cried. What part did you cry at?
The end. Like the very end when they were crying and the like I can't take it anymore, I'm so sad instance.
Cried on the inside mostly, and I think I started like crying on the inside during the end of I Am My Monster. Mostly because of just that ending scene with Steven. Just
That hurt
he didn't
so
even
much.
get any real lines other than a few words and just crying, and that was all that was needed.
The first time I cried was when Steven was running away via Cinderella style. And the diamonds were like, Steven, come back. And then I can't remember which one it was. They were like, we're your family. And my eyes just went,
It was white.
yeah. It was just like, no, the family. You used the fam word. And I was just like,
You're not allowed to use the fam word.
and then they're like, oh no, he left his sandal. We must fly through outer space to return it.
Thingy.
What a good excuse to go see if our little baby is okay. Just
Okay.
like,
They didn't call it a sandal, they called it a foot thong
I
thingy.
couldn't remember what they called it, but yeah.
Foot thong thingy.
Yeah.
AKA the best excuse to say thong on television in a kid's show.
Well, I
They
think
get
that's
away.
what they used to be called in the 20s.
I think
That's
that's
what
Exactly.
families will call them.
I
Yeah.
believe that's what they call them in Australia. Don't quote me on that. I saw a tweet. So
I saw a tweet. Yeah.
I'm going to admit though, I was feeling really dumb. Like when I heard it's actually called a foot thong or what they were actually saying, because I thought they were saying foot thumb.
oh. Well
Need to
then.
turn on
Oh,
Where's your
subtitles.
foot thumb?
It's like that's what I thought they were saying.
Oof.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Gems don't know what the hell a sandal is. I doubt they knew what a thong was.
The R34 artist would very much disagree.
So can we just briefly talk about how they turned Steven into a penis dragon thing?
Oh, yeah. Basically Godzilla, but pink with inverted edgy
They
eyes.
got away with penis Steven.
That's a
I
penis.
swear, I'm gonna get flagged by YouTube if we keep calling him the penis demon.
Okay. I didn't notice this until one of the people I watched on Twitter posted a screenshot of it. And I was like, oh no. Oh no. And I was like, you put this on television.
I need you to show me a picture of this because I'm not seeing it.
It's in pictures and stuff.
It's not the best one,
Oh,
but
I see what you mean now.
yeah, just the shape of the head.
Uh-huh.
That's not the one that
I'm not putting this in the stream for obvious
no,
reasons.
no. This is more to the picture that
One of Dreams says,
a giant woman,
Aeon,
and
Aeon says, leave it to the only male gem to be the giant phallus.
yeah. So that's an so I found it very interesting how all three diamonds couldn't stop Steven.
Blue Diamond Ender Cloud, though.
I'm also
Such
very upset that they
Elegance.
I feel like Blue Diamond's powers are just an allegory for using drugs as a means of getting happier.
yeah.
Like
high.
just a short
Getting
high
high,
as
though.
euphoria.
I'm so sad that Garnet did Future Vision. It wasn't like, okay, diamonds, you have to fusion now. I'm so
Why
sad.
didn't they fuse? We could have seen a triple diamond fusion try to take on
And-
Steven.
I would have been fine if they fused and then hugged Steven. I would have been fine with that. Just give me my fusion.
Like, pick him up and hug him and hold him because he is baby.
Yes, and like just rock him back and forth. Like, and then
It was a community effort.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
The one part that really hit home for me was when Connie landed on his nose.
Yeah.
and kissed him. It was like, I don't have powers like you, but mwah. It was like, oh.
Yeah, okay. Just... I'm a little upset at people on Twitter saying they all hugged Steven and it fixed all of his problems. This is
Oh,
bullshit.
didn't. No, it did. He had to go to therapy after that.
Like it was in the moment. It was the in the moment kind of fix when you're feeling like your ultimate monster that like nobody likes you and everybody takes advantage of you, and then just that moment of just everybody like, okay, we don't, all right, and then just that beginning of realization, and then it's like, okay, I need to get help, right?
Also, yeah. Also, when was the last time any of us saw like them hug Steven and like comfort Steven through a crisis? Like, I can't think of it. So
Well, here's the thing,
I
though.
don't think they've
I
hugged the
had
entire
worried
season.
about that before.
no,
the boy does not get
Like,
comfort
mad.
like this.
Like, the rare times Steven has ever been mad, they've kind of like brushed it off till the end because he was a kid. And plus, they've just never had to worry about like Steven being upset or being a bad boy, quote unquote.
Steven saved the universe, but oh no, Steven like screws up and feelings and like
Well, and I guess at the same time too, like they're gems that don't really know how to emote still. Like they've been on Earth for so long, but they don't know, they can't completely sympathize with human emotion yet. So I guess that's another thing too to factor in.
yeah, and he's so worried about their feeling. Like he's such a sweet bean that he's like like he had to like what a three like Steven didn't technically like he grew up on Earth, but like he didn't grow up in human society. So
Mhm.
like he's missing a lot of social skills and being like, oh, I can ask for help here. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things he's missing lots of things in the toolkit.
Yeah, like when he proposed to Connie because he didn't know, right? 'Cause it's like, oh, it worked for Ruby and Sapphire because he doesn't have that social education, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. It turned into a really awkward situation for everybody because it's like
Yeah.
that's
You
not how
don't get
humans do
married at
things.
16.
Yeah, that's and he doesn't know that.
And exactly, he doesn't know any better. The only two people he's really seen get married are Ruby and Sapphire.
And his
And it
dad
was
is not going to help him because his dad hasn't really. Well, I guess
He doesn't have a good relationship with his parents. But there is one thing I do need to talk about that nobody ever seems to talk about. He sent in letters and they never opened them. Like the grandparents.
Yeah.
So there is. It's not like he's never tried to reach out to his old parents before.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
That kind of brings
yeah,
the
there is
question
a
up of
bitter
like because he
relationship.
ran away and did his own thing. Do you think they kind of just shun him, like Greg?
Yeah.
yeah.
It
But then
might
it's like also they shun them, but then it's also like he's our only child and we want him back kind of thing too,
but
right?
they
But
kept them. Like they kept the
yeah,
letters. It's also like their son ran away from them. So it's like it's probably like I'm just assuming it's probably like really hard for them.
mm-hmm.
Like they can't stand
They
to see what his escapades are because it's kind of a reminder of like.
like they failed as parents.
Yeah. But and they keep all the old memories of him up in the house too,
Yeah.
right? And they haven't touched his room, and
Yeah,
it's
his
just
house is just yeah, it's just
it's like a guilt.
Completely get rid of them, but there is still a lot of bad blood that I wish was
resolved.
resolved but addressed at the end. Like I would love to see like sort of a time skip instead of a like, oh, Steven's leaving, goodbye.
I would have loved Steven to like by himself maybe go to his grandparents' house. Like I would have loved to see that scenario play out.
Yeah.
Me too. I want to
Like-
see like how his grandparents react to him.
Like it
It
could have
was
been good, it could have been bad, but like
You
Would've
want to
been-
see the reaction.
because the show has been covering a lot of very serious and intense situations to begin with, and I think like, hey, by the way, I'm your grandson is like one of those really heavy things that hasn't really like not a lot of shows cover, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're Grey's Anatomy, they cover everything.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they kind of brought it up that back in the day, like it was the topic of Greg abandoning his name when his Uncle DeMeo came out.
Well, his cousin Andy, Steven gets to call him Uncle though, because he doesn't have a brother.
I forgot about that character. Yeah, so Greg's still in contact with part of the family then.
Where the hell is Uncle Andy?
Yeah, we
He
should've called
passed
him.
away.
Oh knows.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that. Anyway.
It's awkward.
Yeah. No, that, yeah.
God, I miss Uncle Andy.
And his
My favorite.
I guess honestly, well, I guess maybe we can open kind of the floor up to the audience watching. Like, what was your all's thoughts on Steven Universe future and kind of the whole
Ooh.
situation? It might
So,
be. Go ahead.
sorry. One thing I wanted to say is I love the fact that this series started with Cookie Cat and then it ended with
Cookie Cat.
Ended with Cookie and just Garnet.
And
He left his family.
He left his family behind.
The show style has changed so dramatically since season 1. It is
Steven used to be a super fat boy even before this.
And
yeah.
then he got super thick. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Awkward.
He used to be even fatter though, remember?
Yeah, no, I posted a pic.
Oh no.
Cookie
Before
Cat,
that.
he's super duper yummy.
Oh yeah, no.
Cat.
Oh, the
I'm looking. What
there
is
you go.
with his eyelids?
he was a big sweet boy.
Okay, I'm gonna show you what I mean.
Oh, you're talking about the
the
what's that?
pilot.
Yeah, the pilot.
The pilot, though.
The second image of Steven reminds me of that one kid in elementary school. Just like that one kid.
You know, that kid.
Like the kid who's just like, they can't cancel ice cream on Tuesdays. Or
Oh.
I feel so
Yeah, he used to be even thicker.
so Greg moved
Okay.
in with the Gems. I feel like it's going to become a sitcom in that household.
I want to see the spin-off.
There
I
should
didn't
be,
know
there should
anybody
be
else
like a
wanted-
comic series with Greg living with the Gems.
Greg and the Gems.
So
Wait, they kind of did that at one point with Greg and the Gems being part of a band.
wait,
He-
really? When?
Yeah,
it was an
remember-
episode.
Yeah, it was the episode where it's past Greg when he had Mr. Universe, like it's that kind of thing, where it's just like
They were playing around with instruments.
We're playing What Can I Do For You?
Oh.
And they fused and it was beautiful.
They fused to stick
Salty.
to brick.
Pearl was like, she's mine.
Oh, Aeon has a thing that he said in the chat over what he thinks.
Oh
also
wow,
his
that's
fears of being left out, like the party dream hitting too close to home. I love it.
Love how they started with Steven being functional, but showed how a fixer falls into pieces almost cruel ways when everyone is fine.
mm-hmm.
Realistic things, one gets one growing up. And
Yeah,
then he did like the last thing you said, Spirit.
Well, one of the things that I kind of noticed is that people who suffer emotional abuse tend to be kind of more along the lines of they try to help other people rather than themselves first. So they're a lot
Yeah.
more focused on helping other people, and when there's nothing to be fixed, it's kind of like an attack on their self-worth in a way.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna drink some more water here.
I'm
Casually
also
sips-
going to drink some more water
Mm.
because that applies to me.
Everyone that this applies to, take a water break.
I just finished a whole
Running
lot
out
of
of
juice.
water. Beautiful. I'm out of water.
Some great audio right there.
I'm drinking through a straw. What do you want from me?
Slurp, damn it!
I love how I gave everyone else like just their OC's hair, and then it's just box.
As in Steven Universe Water ASMR with Spirit Productions.
Don't.
I am not doing an ASMR video, considering how many horn toads I have on my doorstep.
I hope you're having a good time.
We've only been recording for 45 minutes, and it's descended back into madness.
Well,
Every
that's
time I
the
do that, I get
episode.
fleshy.
Thanks for showing up.
We talk about everything is fine and how Steven like looks more like his mom.
So
think-
much.
I think. Okay, sorry to completely sidetrack, but I gotta say this before I forget it because I thought about it before.
Do
Why
it.
didn't they have like some sort of physical change to Steven afterwards to show the events of all of this, like something along the lines of his like hair turning pink or something like that whitish pink color on his monster form spines, because that would have showed like, yeah, he wouldn't have looked normal, but it would have been kind of like, oh, this kind of stuff scars you.
Or like have his gem turn or something.
Yes, we get the point, Spring. You want him to,
or
have
like
his
some
gem
stretch
change.
marks. Like have some stretch marks, damn it, around his belly.
Are you
That would
kidding
just
me?
look like he'd be pregnant.
Hey. And then you could use some bio oil. Bio oil. It's good for
They
that.
don't even show Steven's gem though anymore. It's the odd thing. Like it's just his shirt, like his varsity jacket and his jeans. They don't even show his gem anymore.
Oh,
So who knows? Maybe it did turn.
No,
Theory.
if you look at his monster form, it's round.
Oh,
Dang
never
it.
mind. Yeah,
Yeah, trauma.
Steven's monster form was sick though. like Steven just had like that pot belly in his monster form.
Thick.
Yeah.
With like 2 C's.
Not in a sexual way, like thick as
I
in
mean,
that.
he hugged a mountainside or a hillside with that has a woman statue on it. So
Let's not. Okay, so
We're not going down that direction.
okay,
please no.
I'm done.
Please don't give the R34 people anything else to work with.
I
We
just
already
gave them
them the ASMR part. What more do you think?
I
you're
mean,
gonna
the
want?
episode gave them enough. There's chains. There's I'm done.
No.
Oh my god, no, Spring. You just took this into a bad direction.
So
Yeah.
We've run
So
out of things
apparently
to
you
talk
could run-
about.
apparently he can run on water. That's a thing.
Yeah, you'd really think that the water would be deeper since they threw him out into the middle of the ocean.
I guess he's
Nope.
got his
Yeah.
floaty powers still, but
I don't know how
Yeah.
I feel about that.
I don't like it.
No, either. Don't like it.
I don't like it.
Hmm.
I'm fine
I
with them.
guess-
But is that more or less the end of the Steven Universe discussion, or?
I thought we were gonna get a good solid hour out of this, but no, we got 45 minutes of discussion out of it.
I cried.
Volleyball.
I guess
They
so
covered up her eye.
let's do like closing remarks as the whole like opinions on it, then we'll wrap it up, then maybe we can bring up another discussion if we want to, question mark.
Volleyball.
And then I just want to, because again, I can't be on for too long like usual, so just bearing that in mind also.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 9 p.m. Eastern is your cap, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. Let's go ahead and wrap up this short podcast, short but sweet podcast episode talking about Steven Universe future. So as per tradition, we'll go with the MASS orders. So Maple, you're first.
My thoughts on Steven Universe, or like, are we talking about the series as a whole, or just the ending? Like,
Either one. I think I might personally go with the series as a whole, kind of like this is what I thought of it overall, like if you want to put it
Then
into a paragraph.
well, to fit it in, I loved it. It was great. It was great discovering it. It was a great old journey. A little bit of everything for everybody to relate to and to take a little piece out of it, right? Gonna be one of those cartoons that goes down in history, and you know what? It's one of my all-time favorite cartoons, and may it live with the greats.
Christy, that's your turn.
Alright. Well, I've been with the show since the beginning, all because I thought the show is centered around crystals, beaches, and all that other cool aesthetic jazz that I enjoy. I'ma stick with this and just see how it goes. I didn't think it was going to last that long up until I think it was the Lapis Lazuli arc that made me stick around to it, which I know most people love the encounter with Jasper, but no. I've been with this show since the beginning. I kind of grew up on it. Didn't think it was going to do a whole lot, but it did, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with how things ended. Even though, yeah, the show isn't perfect, its fan base isn't perfect. It really isn't perfect.
But at
But
the same time, what
I
is?
still enjoy it. It makes me happy. And
Thing?
it'll live on in my heart for a very long time.
Meow.
Yeah,
Peace.
Spring, that's your turn.
Oh,
Oh, I'm on. Okay. So I've been watching Steven since the beginning. Basically was told, hey, would a show about gay space rocks? I was like, hell's yeah, I'm on board. Um, it's made me laugh. It has made me cry. It has hit home way too many times for comfort. And I think this type of television is very important, especially for kids. And it's television that is not being like it's topics that aren't being dumbed down. That I think is really important because kids aren't dumb,
mhm.
and there's a lot of kids out there that have dealt with these type of issues and they don't know how to process it, and to see it like done in this sort of format is really good because it starts to raise questions and lets them start to think about it in a healthy sort of setting. And I've loved the characters of the show. Yes, there's been things I've kind of questioned, but that's what you do with every show that you watch. And Pearl's my fave, and I wish her the best in her non-real world life. That I'm I mm, mm, I hope she gets together in her write all the fan fiction. Mm,
Ship her with
um,
Bismuth.
ship her with Bismuth. I'm gonna get sad. The diamonds, like I thought they were like a bunch of wiener heads at the beginning, and then they turned out to be sweet beans. And yeah, this show has just been a roller coaster, and I'm glad that I've been a part of it.
I guess that
Yeah.
makes it my turn to wrap this whole thing up. Um,
Mm,
so kind of trying not to end it on too serious a note, but as someone who is not only LGBT but also has experienced some like external emotional trauma just due to life and everything like that happening, I think that shows like this are incredibly important, not only for the purpose of kind of like not really a coping mechanism, but more along the lines of giving people a means of seeing like, hey, you're not alone,
mm-hmm.
kind of thing. But also showing people an example of this is okay to feel this way, in a
Mm,
sense. Like, granted, you don't want to have people acting out like Steven did against White Diamond,
Yeah.
but
mm-hmm.
it's more along the lines of showing them this is what can happen. It's okay to feel poorly like this, and we encourage you to get like to seek help and all of that. Even though they didn't actually deliberately say that Steven went to therapy, which makes me a little angry,
They
but
did.
they did.
Yeah, he said
Yeah,
I'm
at the
seeing my
very end.
therapist.
They brought up, like, by the way, while I'm gone, I'm going to be able to video chat with my therapist.
Okay, I must have forgotten that they mentioned that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see, what was I talking about? I think ultimately, like, to wrap it up, all at the end of the day, the show certainly was not perfect in all of its execution. It had a lot of great parts, but the thing is about, especially TV shows and long-running media, is that you're never gonna have a perfect product, so to speak. You are gonna have some really good parts that really resonate home, and I think that's kind of the important thing. Like, you get a lot of people getting up in arms about the writing of the show and how
Mm,
it's not like they messed up at this part. It's just like, okay, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge the accomplishments it's had and its successes, because that's really where it hits home. Like, unless there's something incredibly, like, unless they're teaching a dangerous message, which I can't recall anything off the top of my head from Steven, but I think ultimately, like, at least from observing Rebecca Sugar's like history with the series and seeing how it's changed, I can really appreciate it as a creator as well. And I'm rambling, I know. I'm trying
mm-hmm.
to get my
Fine,
thoughts
girl.
out because this is like a this is a thing that the show, while it wasn't perfect by any regards, it's still something that kind of inspired me to do stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes me really hopeful to see more quality stuff like that, because we've definitely seen kind of a change in the status quo over the past years thanks to the presence of Steven. Like, we've had increased quality in animation. The backgrounds in Steven Universe alone are beautiful.
Yes.
And I need to learn how to paint that way, because honestly, if we can see more TV shows reaching closer to film grade animation, like 101 Dalmatian Street has some really good animation and effects, and that's starting to come into play thanks to Steven's presence.
You should watch Tangled. That's
And
very
there's
good.
friggin' Michelle Dietz plays Dolly on that show as well.
Oh yeah, I think she's the same voice actress as Amethyst, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Amethyst is in a 101 Dalmatian Street.
Oh.
Anyway,
Amethyst is a dog!
Anyway, wrapping up, I think Steven Universe was a really important thing to happen in the realm of the cartoon world, and I seriously hope that we get more stuff like it. And I hope that to those, like anyone watching who's looking to create a show, I feel like Steven Universe should be an example for you that you can get your idea out there. It's not always going to be the same as you envision it, but at the same time, if you have an important story to tell that you feel will really help serve others in making their lives better, then I think this is your golden opportunity, if that makes sense.
In other words, thank you, Rebecca Sugar.
Yes, I really doubt Rebecca's gonna see this, but we very much appreciate Rebecca.
Yes. Thank you.
And
Sad.
Oh, Rebecca Sugar has a dope-ass name.
honestly,
Yeah.
she does. So yeah, I guess that's the end of this episode of ClovenCast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, bell, comment, discuss Steven Universe in the comments. As well as check out the playlist of the rest of the series in the description. That's all for now. Would you guys like to sign off?
Bye.
I meant with your name.
Maple says bye.
I'm Springheart.
This is the most eloquent outro for a serious
We
sign
need
off
to
of
have
Steven Universe.
We need to have an order we do this.
We have an order. It's just we never stick by it because I always go last.
I was waiting. And no one went.
Thank you guys
Christy,
for watching.
Frank.
We'll see you next time. This is
Woo.
ClovenCast signing off.
Gay gems.